Alright, what is up, you beautiful people, and welcome back to another weekly Brawl tier list with Fenix benchmarking. So, also we've got Stockpile, so we got some extra money. No time to talk. It looks like I started with the Tychus, so I'm just going to make sure that he has some extra boys to protect him. So it looks like Brawl modifiers this week is, you start with more money, you get a stim pack on everything with Tychus Homebrew, and I also start with a random Tychus hero. And in this case, I got Tychus, which is probably one of the best heroes to start with, to be honest. I think Tychus is literally the best hero to have, because he's viable throughout the entire game. Oh no, it's a Tychus, and he started with the Nux. Good thing I have a bunch of Legionaries. Okay, so a Tychus mirror match, just not mirror match, but against Tychus, I probably just want to buy a bunch of Disruptors. I think that was it. Oh my god, our Tychus here got two Tychus. Oh, so Tychus is hands down going to be pretty good this week. Dane here is like a Statman. Okay. Just because if you roll double Tychus as Tychus, that's actually going to be insane. Alright, well this week's Brawl just looks like, I don't know, just a little bit of RNG here. But the Stim Pack and the Stockpile should help you get started quite nicely. Now if only I can. I'm just going to put down more Legionaries here for now. And then I'm going to buy purely Disruptors, I think. I'm gonna buy Fenix first, and I'm gonna buy purely Disruptors. So I think the Legionaries will be useful. Look at that, they just cleaned everything up here. And then, oh, that's a Boswell. Let's see. Okay, Legionaries with the Stim Pack are actually kind of crazy. Stim Pack Legionaries are actually a bit nuts, and Stim Pack Tychus is actually even more insane. Or I'm pretty sure it's the Legionaries that are chopping Tychus to pieces here. But they're going to get destroyed by a Blaze very soon here. But the Stockpile just makes it so that Tychus' game is a lot faster as well. So let's see. I can probably get a Disruptor, like just Disruptors all the way back here. But I kind of want to Greed and Gas. I'm gonna get Fenix first, because there's middle income here. Oh my god, Nikara healing double Tychus. Now that is going to be insane. You know what? You know who else is going to be insane? Manx. Look at that. Because Manx and his boys now have Stim. Before, his only weakness is that he didn't have Stim. I mean, damn. And now there's also an extra Tychus guy to like help you out here. Damn. Okay, I'm gonna turn you into this Phoenix over here. There we go. Okay. Boswell's just gonna get chopped down here. Look at that. We're just gonna chop him down here. Oh, the Nux wave looked like it dealt more damage this time. I'm pretty sure Tychus can beat Nux at 1v1, even though he has less health right now. Yeah, look at that. Tychus is a god. Alright. Oh, by the way, guys, if you guys are new to my channel and you guys enjoy Direct Strike content, be sure to watch this video until the end, because there's going to be a tier list for this week's Direct Strike Weekly Brawl. And I don't actually know what I'm going to do. I'm just gonna go for a bunch of invisible balls of death, also known as Disruptors. So yeah, be on the lookout for those. Although I kind of want to just go for Immortals, because I feel like Immortals scale better. But I know Disruptors are technically like the meme counter, like the counter. But Immortals, because I have the Stim Pack, right? And they attack faster. So it's still not too bad. I mean, they have a lot more health as well. They have like 400 health with their shields. They're not as tanky as Artanis Immortals, which are 500. But I still feel that's pretty good. I feel like I can get Disruptors in the late game. That's what I feel. Okay, so my Legionaries are probably just going to get shredded here. That looks like it. They're probably dead here. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you know what? I think Immortals with Stim Pack can counter Tychus. I'm gonna go for Immortals with Stim Pack. But I want to buy Taldarin. I think what I'm gonna do is if I buy Taldarin, I'm gonna put him off to the side so he doesn't get focused down, and then I'm just gonna spam pure Immortals. My favorite thing to do is to spam pure Immortals. So that's the one. They have 6 range, right? Same range as Tychus? Oh, they have less range than Tychus. I mean, they have more range than Tychus. I'm just going to put them next to Tychus then, if this is what the case is, so that they don't have to walk up. Because Fenix is sort of in the back line. So, let's see. There we go. I'm going to level up ground weapons, maybe. This guy has... Gary's not massive. Oh no, but he's mechanical. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. But look at that. They don't stand a chance here, do they? Oh, there's a Sam here. Why would you be so bold as to buy a Sam? I don't even have... I mean, I guess Sam to disable Fenix, but Sam is actually not that great right now, especially if you don't get Sam to throw his grenade. Damn. You're gonna bark all day. And if you guys are new to my channel, and you guys enjoy Direct Strike content, be sure to drop a sub to keep up with this content if you are not already. Sub. Put down another one of these guys. I'm gonna make this guy Taldaran. Taldaran's DPS boost is massive. Why does this guy have so many Sky Furies? They don't do bonus to massive. I mean they do bonus to massive, but none of these units here are massive. But the thing is though, they shoot like once every second now, which is insane. And so they're actually a viable anti-air unit. And when they're on the ground, they shoot twice every second. They shoot twice every second. That's actually no joke. I'm gonna probably need more legionaries at the front though. They're getting burned down quite quickly here. Oh yeah, we just got burned down here. Oh, damn. Maybe it's getting Sams because Sams are the highest DPS guys here. But they're quite vulnerable to whatchamacallits, disruptors. Okay, so I do have Taldaran here. But let's see. He's got Graviton Disruptors and it pulls nearby targets together. So I'm gonna put him over here, and then I'm gonna grab Gravimetric Overload as an upgrade here. But I think even though he has all those Sams, my Immortals should still be able to kill them faster. I think. Oh, but that's a lot of Hydralisk here. Oh man, those Hydralisks barely put up a fight. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, as long as I didn't have to deal with Manx's Sky Furies, I would have been fine here. There we go. Like, Stimpack Immortals are really good. Stimpack anything is really good. Let's see. Taldaran here, shield triggered. You know what I don't get, though? How Taldaran's shield is only 100 as well. Like, his bonus shield is only 100. But he's like a hero immortal. Shouldn't his shield be bigger? You know, like, these guys only have 100, so they go like 400, but like Taldaran only has an extra 100. He should have an extra 200. Give him that 800 health. I don't know. Maybe it's just bouncing, but I just feel like Taldaran should have a bigger shield, because he's a heroic immortal, so yeah. I don't know. Oh man, that's a lot of lings. It's a lot of boys. What is Manx doing? Why does he have all those units that are... Why does he have so many Sky Furies? I'm actually kind of curious. Okay, I'm going to go for another gas here. It is 7 minutes, but I'm going to have to deal with those Sky Furies. I mean, they've been doing okay, I guess. Stimpack Legionaries have been doing pretty great. I should probably buy Kaldalis and just put him down at the very end. Like, yeah, look at that. The Cav doesn't stand a chance against these Immortals. No chance. No chance. Get them out of here, boys. Get that stuff out of here. I'm gonna buy an Observer, just because it seems like we'll need one. I'm gonna put Kaldalis down, but have him over here. I think that's one of the things with Fenix and his heroes. You kind of don't want them to be front and center. You want them to be alive for as long as possible. Because I've been playing a bit of Fenix this week, just to figure out, like, you know, what to do with Fenix. Especially like the Fenix into Zagara matchup. I think one of you guys requested that. And the short answer is you have to win the game as soon as possible. The long answer is if you play a long game, you cannot beat Zagara as Fenix, I don't think. Because none of your units actually prevent splash, because they're all small, right? They're all like smallish, and so when a wave crashes into you, like, you're just gonna have a bad time. Oh man, Manx has tanks now. Oh god, Stepman has to step up his game. Let's see. Oh, ran out of energy here. Had to overcharge on Fenix. Jesus, I gotta keep cleaning up after Stepman here. Oh, he has some Banelings now, though. That might be useful. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, actually, our Fenix is still alive. That actually helped out massively. Oh, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I think I'm gonna try and fill in probably a few Conservators now. So, like, one Conservator here, and one in the middle somewhere. But I'm gonna try and put them down here. It's like their little protective field. Yeah, it's like it's that big. So there we go. Oh, Manx Stepman just can't clean up after Manx. Boom. Oh man, Kaldalis is always going to be in the front though. That's the only problem I have. But anyway, I guess he's doing his role, you know? He's fulfilling his duty here. Stepman needs to get some ultras, I think. Yeah, like, without my overcharge, I wasn't able to clean that up here. Let's see. Maybe I can get some adepts to be right in the middle. I'm gonna get one of these here. But it's just hard trying to push through all of that. And I know I don't want to go air because here's one of the things I've gathered about Fenix. If you want to go Fenix air, the only thing you should go is what is it? You should only buy Klolarian, and then that's it. Like your scouts are actually not too bad as an anti-air unit, is what I've realized. The only issue is your air DPS doesn't really exist. Jesus. Stepman is leaving more and more stuff for me to clean up. That's such a bad sign. But at least it's... Oh my god, that's so many Boswells here. Can I kill the tank at least? I cannot snipe the tank off. That's over. Oh. My Disruptor is still here though. And he doesn't see it. He doesn't have detection on his Nux. Which is great. It's just doing like a little bit of damage. I'm gonna buy more Disruptors here. Okay. I live on. That thing killed one thing here. It got healed up by Nikara. But there's no detection here so far. It's just an invisible ball shooting stuff, which is great. Which is great, because it provides additional DPS. Not a lot, but it's there. It doesn't work on these Manx units here because they run too fast. And buy one more of these bad boys. There we go. Come on. I live on. I mean, because they're just invisible and they just get that stim as well. Okay, so now I'm gonna go for a gas here. If I do go tier 3, I might just buy Klolarian and then just have him exist. That's really all I'm gonna do. Just have Klolarian exist. Let's see, Legionary is going down. Maybe I should just have a I've also realized that a Legionary box is actually quite good. So maybe I should get a Legionary box. Because it's kind of like a Ling box, but like a lot more expensive. But pretty good still, regardless of the fact that it's more expensive. I'm gonna do some damage to these Guardians up here so that my Tychus ally has a bit of an easier time dealing with them. There we go. God, Tychus is just mowing through these Ravasors. It's actually not even funny. Holy. Oh my god. But what I'm thinking about is Stim Pack Wrathwalkers, because if everyone has a Tychus, or if people are going to be playing Tychus, Alarak is going to be very good. Alarak is just going to be like, have you met my Wrathwalkers? But this time they're on Stim. And Manx, like anything on Stim that's like a siege unit is just insane. And the tanks are going to be on Stim as well, which is going to be nuts. Okay, I got my protective fields here. Okay, look at that. The Disruptors are just blowing up Tychus's units here. So I think you can't go pure Disruptors. You do have to have some Immortals to protect you. Yeah, especially when you move on to the second wave here. Although, looks like I just need more Disruptors. I think the secret to Fenix is just Disruptors, it seems. The secret is Disruptors. Boom, there we go. And then we're pushing in quite nicely right now. Damn, I'm gonna pour myself some tea here. Did we almost get the base? Oh man, look at that fear. I feel like a serious Tychus build would be pretty good too. Because of the stim that's available to you. But why does Manx have so many Sky Furies? That's the one thing I don't get. Why does he have so many Sky Furies? Let's see. Oh, he has a lot of Kevs though. But that's not gonna be enough. That ain't gonna be enough. I'm gonna level up here so that I can. Alright, what is up? This is 2020 hindsight Wuju's here. So apparently my mic cut out halfway into this game. And so here we go, we got the past commentary. So I know I made that comment about like, why does Manx have so many Sky Furies? It turns out actually, like when I was in the game, I was thinking about it, and I realized that Sky Furies were actually, they were super annoying, and they actually made a very good front line. And right now, I think I'm just looking at my disruptors here because I'm just like, oh, look, they actually do quite a bit of DPS. They like hit every 0.8 seconds at once, so that's actually pretty good because they're also like stealthed invisible balls as well. But here, like the Skyfrays, you can see they're surviving, right? And basically, it's like as soon as you get through that 400 HP that they have, they lift up into the air again with 400 shields and they come back down. And so technically, the Skyfrays are actually like almost 1,000 HP worth of like stats and tankiness. I think they're like 880 because I think max level Skyfury has like 480 health. I could be wrong. I'm just remembering this off the top of my head. And so right now, like look at those Skyfuries. Like they're just protecting those tanks. Like I just like little mouse over with my mouse there, and I'm just like, oh my god. And so for basically the rest of this game, those Skyfuries are like a super big pain in the butt here. And so right now, I think I'm putting down some Adepts because I'm like, I need a second front line. So, because like my Legionaries ran in and they just die, right? And if I buy more Legionaries, they're just gonna run in and die. So I'm just like, okay, if I put down some Adepts here, like they could help act as a second front line because they have shorter range than the Immortals, so they're sort of walk forward and tank for me. So that's what I'm thinking right here, and I think that actually helps a lot. It does. I don't actually like see it in action because I'm just like I just feel it. You know, I feel like my waves like staying alive a little longer, my Immortals are staying alive a little longer, and so I buy more Adepts after this. Right now, the 4 Adepts obviously aren't going to make a difference, but I think I end up buying like 12 or 15 Adepts. I get a lot of Adepts here, but those, look at that. That Boswell here is still alive with this critical response system, and it's really messing us up here, but I do have my sentries here, keeping us alive here for a little bit, or reducing the damage up. Like, look at that. That Manx tank in the back is just, that Manx tank is carrying the day. And that's why I'm thinking that Manx is going to be really good this week. Well, actually, I've already made my tier list assessment now. I'm just sort of voicing over this, so I do have Manx in the S tier. Surprise, surprise. But yeah, if you guys want to go check the tier list out, it's at the end of the video. So there we go. I'm gonna get my debilitation system here. I'm looking at how much damage it does. 45 damage, which is pretty good. It makes it so that units take more damage. I have Talus kind of off to the side here because I don't want her dying instantly when she runs in, because that's usually what happens. And so I think I'm gonna buy more Adepts here. And then I think once I fill up my Adept line at the front, I'm just like, you know, having a look at this. I think what's gonna happen is I'm gonna buy a bunch more Disruptors and a bunch more Immortals. And that ends up doing us quite well here. And so right now I'm just looking at this wave here, and I think what I'm saying is I think I'm talking about the Fenix versus Cigar matchup, because I think one of you guys asked, it's like, how do I beat Cigar as Fenix? And so the long story is you don't if you play the long game, and the short story is you might be able to if you just rush her down, which is gonna be kind of hard because you have to like destroy like the base and everything, and Fenix isn't exactly the best known at destroying bases. But maybe Disruptors could help you, because this game really opened my eyes to how powerful Disruptors are if you protect them. You got to make sure you have like your standard, Fenix frontline. But I feel like your stacking unit as Fenix is not the Colossus, but actually the Disruptor. Because Disruptor shoots every 14 seconds, but it does huge AoE damage. And so right now I think I'm trying to put down, I'm trying to fill up my Adept line here. I end up filling up like all that space at the front. And then I stopped buying Adepts because I'm just like, symmetry. And I'm also done with symmetry. And I'm like, I don't think I need more Adepts. I think I'm trying to flash up my Legionary frontline as well. And yeah, like those tanks are honestly just a pain. But look at these Skyfrays right here. Look at that. They die, but then they come back again with the Phoenix Protocol. And so they have to die twice. So they're basically just like mini Boswells. It's probably the best way to put it. Yes, they're armored. Yes, I can tear them apart with Immortals, but look at that. Like, they're keeping Tychus's wave alive because most of my wave's damage has gone on to hit those Sky Furies. And so, honestly, I was like, oh god, I might not be able to win this because, like, I can't. And then so I start buying more Disruptors here, which, surprise, surprise, turns out to be a very good decision. You'll see how many Disruptors I have at the end of the game here. But, yeah, I don't know if I should just commentate all the way until the end, because I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I know what's going to happen here, but I'm just sort of like, looking at the damage of my heroes and everything. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, one more Disruptor. There we go. One more Disruptor before I leave. And then, yeah, I'm just looking at like the kills, the stats. I'm assessing like Stetman's wave here, and I'm just like, damn, he's getting blown apart here because he doesn't really have too much of a front line. And then like, I mean, Gary here is doing quite a good job. But I think he's just going to get taken out here. Yeah, it's going to get taken out here. And then those tanks, like, I'm just mousing over them. I'm like, oh my god, those tanks again, they're still alive. But they're not gonna survive for too long because they're under fire, I think. Taldarin? Yeah, Taldarin did. Okay, yeah. But yeah, like having 2 more Disruptors there just did so much more damage, so much more work. And I think those Adepts actually did help a lot. They tanked a lot. And here the enemy Tychus leaves. And I'm actually surprised at this. I'm like, what? Why did he leave? Because I think getting Tychus wasn't actually doing too bad. Like, I actually dropped a scan here because I didn't believe that. I was like, what? But anyways, so we got the bunker here. I got my weapon upgrades to tier 3. And so here, I'm thinking about what to do against the Sky Furies. And in my brain, I'm like, what if I bought some scouts? Because the thing is, right, he has so many Sky Furies. So here, I think I go buy a scout here. No, I don't go buy a scout. I'm going to go buy a scout at some point in time. Because my rationale behind that was, look, the Sky Furies will automatically fly up into the air to attack things that are flying, right? As you can see here, Stetman's just taking them down here because they're in the air. And so if I can force the Sky Furies into the sky, my scouts can probably beat them in a one-to-one fight, especially with Mojo, because Mojo can stun. So I'm going to do that at some point. But right now, I think I'm still trying to max out on Disruptors and ground units. As you can see, the Adepts are making a great secondary front line with Legionaries here. Kaldal's just getting burned down, you know, just Kaldal's things, you know, he runs forward. Tychus is actually a great addition to my wave. Honestly, I think if I didn't have Tychus, like, I would be struggling. But yeah, like, look at those tanks just absolutely massacre my Disruptors. And yeah, so here's I think I get scouts this way. Do I? No, I felt my Adept line. Okay. I get scouts at some point in time. I'll see when it is. I mean, it might be a little too early. My brain in the game hasn't clocked onto the fact that I could probably buy scouts. I think here I was thinking of buying Kolarian, but then I realized like Kolarian is just gonna get dumpstered by Sky Furies. So I'm like, let's just keep building Disruptors. Because Disruptor AoE is actually kind of ridiculous. Now that I look at it, you don't have to micro them either. They just sort of pop it down. So the only hard counter to Disruptors is just having units that run fast. But once they run fast and they crash into your front line and they stay there for a little bit, and that's when your Disruptors start firing. That is still good, as good as ever, right? Like look at that. The Disruptors start firing, boom, everything explodes. Oh my god, and like Stim Pack Immortals are just something else here. Oh my god, but like the Haka wave here is just a little too strong because it just pushes back. If I can survive that push, which is why I'm buying some more Immortals here. If I can survive that second Dahaka charge and blow up the Dahaka with a second wave of Disruptors, I can easily wipe down 2 teams here. Because it is a 2v3, and so I think here we're actually in a bit of a dicey situation here. I'm looking at the armor count on my units because I'm like, hey, look, armor. I almost never buy armor when I'm trying to build aggressive because I'm just like, it doesn't really matter the damage reduction. I guess I think armor is only really worth it like later into the game, and if you're against like Zerglings or like units that don't do a lot of damage per hit, that's when you can nullify most of the damage. Yeah, but look at that. Ooh, okay. And here I'm talking about how Stetman's wave is just super squishy. He just has a bunch of Hydras, and then so he's just gonna get burned down here. Dahaka has a small Dahaka wave that's just gonna push in quite nicely, but watch the Disruptors here. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Dahaka just died instantly. And then without Dahaka as a front line, everything here is just gonna melt. Now I'm going to push into Manx, which, like, Manx has just been so problematic here. My Adepts acting as a second front line here are going to help me neutralize a lot of the boys here, but the boys are just running in there. Look at that. But look at that wave of disruptions. It's so good, but the Sky Furies actually get into the sky to dodge my disruptions. And then I think it's after this wave that I'm just like, wait, what if I buy Scouts? No, I buy another Immortal. No, I buy more. Okay, you know what? Maybe it's much later into the game that I realize, what if I bought Scouts? But I'm actually kind of surprised that it took me this long to realize that I could have bought Scouts. I think in my mind, I was just like, look, if I just buy enough Immortals and Disruptors, I can murder those Sky Furies. Oh, okay, no. Here is where I'm like, I could buy a Scout. But after I spent like money on buying 2 Immortals. But, okay, yeah, so this is the wave that I buy Scouts. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy Mojo. And then Mojo has a suppression procedure that he fires off like every 4 seconds. That stuns a unit. And so you can just sort of, I'm pretty sure pound for pound, I wouldn't want to say like 1-on-1. I think 1-on-1 my Scouts would still lose, but in like a 2v1 scenario, I should be able to win. Like look at that. That one Scout already distracted some of the Sky Furies, and I'm able to push past and kill the tanks. Because right now I just need to kill the tanks. If I can kill the tanks, like, and everything doesn't matter. Like literally Dahaka's wave I can just blow up with Disruptors, right? But the tanks are murdering me, and Dahaka here doesn't have detection on himself, and so my Disruptors are just invisible balls of like little blasts, but they're gonna go down. Force a scan here, but I think, yeah, I'm gonna try and get some more Scouts here. By some more I mean like 1 more Scout. That's about it. I think I also make a joke about how like there should be a Disruptor hero. You know, it's like, there's a hero for Immortals, there's a hero for Scouts. Like, why can't there just be a Disruptor hero? You know, although I feel like a Disruptor hero might be too ridiculous. I think I'm putting my Scouts here to tank for Mojo right now because I'm just like Mojo just sort of runs in, but I also want to try and keep him alive here. That's what I'm doing over there. But yeah, why isn't there a Disruptor hero? Like, just give it like twice as much HP, have its Disruption Nova do like twice as much damage when it explodes, and have its little blast that it does, like those little dinky little blasts, like do double damage. Pretty simple. I don't know. And then like my shields there, I think I'm pointing to how like all you need are really 2 sentries. I think maybe you could get 4 for the late game, so like 2 that trigger on your first wave, and then 2 that trigger on the next wave when you fight your opponents. But yeah, look at that damage by the tanks and the Skyfears. Like, it's super ridiculous here. We just got burned through, and so I'm gonna get my tier 4 upgrades here, and so that's gonna help out my Disruptors, especially because it gives them cooldown reduction. And I think I go back to buy some more scouts here. No, I'm looking at my Immortals and how many kills they've gotten. Taldarn's got 69 kills, and I think I say nice over here. I'm gonna say nice again. These guys say it's a GG already, and I was like, I'm not so sure about that. I feel like they could definitely pull it back, but apparently it is. I think Dahaka just can't hang on for long enough here, and Manx can't hang on for long enough here either. I think he needs some Ultras. But I think also, what he really needs though? I think he needs more tanks. I don't know why he has so many Skyfuries. That's one thing I don't get. I don't know why he built that many Skyfuries. Like, yes, they're great as like as an actual front line, but I don't know. Like, see, look at that. As soon as the Skyfuries are stuck in the sky, his wave just melts. My scouts made a great distraction here, but his Skyfuries are going to land here. But when they land right on top of my Immortals. My Immortals make quick work of them, or they should. Yeah, like my Immortals just burning through. Fenix here on overcharge here, just blasting his way through, and I actually managed to murder that entire Dahaka wave. I actually didn't even notice that. Like when I was playing, I didn't even realize I destroyed that entire Dahaka wave. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna buy a few more scouts here, and I think those scouts are gonna start being strong enough to distract the Skyfears. But yeah, like as soon as I got scouts, like Skyfears were just like, what do I do? But yeah, I feel like Manx could have played this one better if he got more tanks and got a lot more Zerglings. Manx, you don't want boys as your front line. You want Zerglings as your front line because your Zerglings are so cheap. Like they're so mineral efficient, 15 minerals for 35 HP, and because of the stim pack as well, like they hit faster too. So it's also DPS boost. Yes, they're gonna die instantly, but you know what? You have lots of them, right? The whole point of Manx is like you're literally just using human wave tactics to overwhelm your opponent, and it's not like you're trying to keep as many units alive as possible. This ain't normal Starcraft, So yeah, he has some more Lings, but he's missing the Ling box here. And I think I was thinking of, when I was building the Adepts back there, oh my god, look at that. I just want to admire that wave of depth here. But yeah, like the Skyfears are definitely a really good second front line here. They're super thick. But like, I was actually considering building a Legionary box, which is like a Zergling box, but much more expensive. And I think Legionary boxes might actually not be too bad, but it's just they cost so much to do. And the payoff isn't really that high. So I think right now here I'm just gonna put down more Disruptors because I have enough front line, and I think I'm looking at my scouts and I'm like, I have enough scouts, and it looks like there it is. That's the game. And so here when I look at the stats, this was a really good game, by the way. This is probably one of the better Fenix games that I've played. I look at the stats and I'm just in shock at the fact that I dealt the most damage. I'm just like, what? How? I actually still right now don't know how I dealt that much damage. I'm thinking it's the Disruptors here. Like I sort of look at my wave and I'm like, maybe it's the Disruptors. Like I'm just microing over them. I'm like looking at the kills they've gotten, right? And then like here I realize that they do like 150 damage per blast, and then they have like 75 extra damage on the purification. So I'm just like, that's 225 damage. It's not too bad. It's pretty instant too. And so I'm like, okay, so maybe the secret to Fenix is Disruptors. So I'll have to test that theory out a few more times, maybe like across the week when I stream, as well, or when I just like play on my own time. But I'm also thinking maybe having Tychus here like really help boost my damage as well, because Tychus is a DPS god, and he stays alive for quite a bit of time because he has so much tankiness surrounding him. But yeah, I'm just in awe at like the fact that I've dealt that much damage this game, and it might be because I was against Tychus, so enemy Tychus just was a meat shield for me, but like he left for half the game, so that's the thing. And I also killed the most mineral value. So, Manx killed the most, but like I killed the most on my team, so I'm just like, I don't know. I'm in shock at that performance. But anyways, we're gonna cut the video here, and we're gonna go onto the tier list. Alright, and we're back. So for those of you guys who've decided to skip ahead here is the game plan. We're just going to go for auras, overall strategy, and commander rankings. Be sure to drop a like and sub if you want to keep up with this content and you're not yet subbed. So let's get right to it. So Stockpile is our first ore. We start with more minerals. That will allow you to tech up the tier 2 a little earlier if you would like, or you can just spam down a lot more early units. Next, we have Tychus Homebrew, which gives all units stim, and they have health regen, so that's going to give you guys a huge power spike on basically everyone. And Heaven's Devils allows you to start with a free Tychus hero. So part of this brawl is going to kind of depend on what sort of Tychus hero you start with, but I think you cannot start with Nikara or Vega anymore. However, if I think all the other Tychus heroes are not too bad to start with, but I think the best one to start with is probably Tychus, because he does AoE, he also does lots of DPS. But having a Blaze or a Boswell is quite good as well. So I think this week's strategy is divided up into early game commanders and late game commanders. Early game commanders, I think you guys can just rush it down. Like, just go for like the most aggressive push you can. And late game commanders, I think you just want to try and survive until late game, and then you can start thriving. So here's what I think is going to be this week's ratings. So I have Menks here as in the S tier because Menks bio is super aggressive. You give them all a stim pack, and now they're actually insane. You add on a Tychus hero, sure your opponent gets one too, but like your LMG boys DPS is going to go through the roof. And now here's the thing, if your early aggro gambit doesn't work out as Menks, okay, it doesn't matter. You can transition into shock divisions, which also have stim. And stimmed up black hammers will clear the skies much faster than normal black hammers. Like, you'll actually notice a difference. And so Menks is just hands out going to be really good at all points in this game, so I think he's going to be S tier. Next, we have Tychus himself. Tychus starting with the free Tychus is just pretty good, I would say. However, I think it might be a little harder for him this week because everyone has a DPS increase, but he doesn't get a tankiness increase, right? Tychus' main issue is that he only has like a handful of guys who are getting hit by a bunch of other guys. And this time, yes, his handful of guys are increasing their DPS output, but his bunch of guys are also taking more hits. However, I think a serious Tychus build this week might actually be ridiculously good because of the increased attack speed. And then Seers can just fear everything over and over and over again. But we'll see what that looks like. And next, I think I would actually say we have Han and Horner here. Why I say this is because Han and Horner's early game is not too bad. We have the Hellbat and Grenade Cars. And Grenade Cars with Stim are actually kind of terrifying to think about. And then you can transition into basically Grounded Deimos if your opponent is going for a lot of grounds. And Grounded Deimos with Stim and their AoE attacks are just going to be ridiculous. So I think that's going to be really good. And I don't foresee Han and Horner doing poorly overall, which is why I think I have them on S. Yeah, and they can also tech switch as well with their little funky passives. There's that. And then next up in the A tier, I have Artanis. So I think Artanis is here because Dragoons are quite good. And yes, Dragoons don't actually have the same amount of DPS as the other guys, but I think Artanis has enough tankiness in his wave to survive, especially with the Guardian Shell that keeps some of his units alive, the Immortality Protocol. And those units are still hitting at stimmed speeds, so I think that will still be pretty good. Although Artanis probably has to build a more aggressive wave to start. I don't think he can start with the Crusher Artanis, which is like Immortal and Dragoon. That's a little too slow. I think you might have to just go with Spinning Zealots for a little bit, backed up by some Dragoons. But I think that's going to have to be a strategy this week. And next is Stukov. So I think Stukov, just having the numbers that he has with the Civs, is definitely going to benefit from the Stim Pack for sure, and also the starting Stockpile. And you can add on top of the fact that Stukov tanks are quite good, but now that they have Stim, so they're even better. So I think Stukov's going to do quite well this week as well. And next we have Raynor. I'm just thinking of, I'm pretty sure like a Raynor Death Fleet would probably be the most sustainable strategy, but now it's on Stim, so it's even stronger. But I just want to see what aggro Raynor Bio looks like with this extra Stim, like just pure Marauders and you just run it down. I think that's just going to be terrifying because the Marauders are going to shoot like 3 times a second. So that's going to be pretty good. But I think your more reliable strategy would be a Death Fleet, because now your Death Fleet shoots even faster with the Vikings and the Hyperion and the Banshee, all that stuff. But I'll give both of them a try. And next in the A tier, I actually want to say Kerrigan. Because Kerrigan and Hydralisk, I think, have the single highest DPS this week. Because they have their own Stim Pack. And they already shoot quite fast, and now they also have Stim Pack again. So I think they actually end up shooting like 5 times a second, and they do like 13 damage. So that's like, what, 65 DPS? coming out from like 85 minerals, I would say that that's very, very worth. If you can keep them alive, at least they'll probably do a lot of work in the early game and the mid game, and in the late game, I don't think they'll be irrelevant. You'll just have to come up with creative ways to make them useful, I guess. I think lurkers would be quite good still as well. Next in the B tier, I have Dahaka. Dahaka suffers from the fact that he has expensive units, so he can't spam as hard, I would say. Although I think small Dahaka doesn't look too bad this week. I think big Dahaka might actually be worse this week because your units cost a lot if you're going big Dahaka, but their DPS increase is kind of negligible compared to DPS increase of say say 4 Hydralisk versus like 1 Impaler. I think the Impaler might be able to stay alive longer because of its extra range, but like if it's like a unit that's like if they can hit each other, right? I feel like the 4 Hydralisk might do better. But obviously AoE factors in as well, so maybe big Dahaka could be good. But I feel like small Dahaka just seems really good because Dahaka's like small Dahaka potential is really high. It's like you can go Zerglings, Roaches, and then just lots of Hydralisk, and then just drop in Ultralisk across your wave, and then your whole purpose is just to shove it. Not to stack it, but you're sort of playing it like Cigar, you're just shoving it down. I feel like that's not too bad. And in the B tier next, we have Fenix. I think Fenix is quite powerful, especially with his heroes on Stim. Just this week, make sure you place I think just in general, make sure you place the heroes off to the side so they don't take aggro. I think I made the mistake of placing heroes in the center for as long as I've had Fenix tier list. And I played a little bit more Fenix this week, and I was just thinking about it, and I was like, what if I have the heroes on the side so they don't die instantly? And I was like, that should have been obvious. But anyways, so I think Fenix is going to do quite well, and since a lot of your opponents will be building like small units. If you can build Colossi without repercussions, Colossi are very, very good with the Stim. So Fenix can just sort of cut his way through those things as well. In the B tier next, I have Carax. Carax I think usually never gets up here, but the reason why I have Carax up here is because I think Stim on carriers is not too bad. That being said, I'm kind of questioning whether Stim on carriers would actually be that great because everything else does a lot more damage. So I might have misjudged it here. But if anything, Carax's Crusher ground comp, where you just go pure ground with the Colossi, and I would just say Colossi Sentinels will be good enough this week, would probably be able to dominate. And then you can probably just grab Mirages, which also have high attack speed to begin with. Maybe just forget carriers. Like you might just go Mirage, Colossi, Sentinel. And that might be your entire game plan, because the Colossi setting the ground on fire and setting the ground on fire more quickly is actually going to be very, very good. And his Colossi do a lot of damage too. So I think Carax is actually not too bad this week. Next we have Alarak in the B tier. I know I said Alarak was going to be really good against Tychus, but the problem is Alarak's units don't shoot fast, and he doesn't have a lot of units to spam, and so he can't benefit from the Stim pack as much, which puts him at a really bad position right now. I think Vanguards might help, but you just have to make sure your Vanguard's first volley kills whatever they're shooting at. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad time. So I feel like Alarak might actually be even lower this week than B, but we'll see. I think he's quite powerful, so if he can get to that sort of death ball state, he should be able to overcome most things. And next we have Nova in the B tier. I think Nova suffers from the same problem as Alarak, I guess, just having expensive units that you can't spam in large numbers. Like Nova Bio is like it's like okay, but like it's super expensive, right? And if all your opponents are spamming Bio, like I don't think Nova has what it takes to survive the damage. Maybe I'm wrong. Hellbat Rangers might be good enough, but like Hellbat Rangers are going to be taking so much more DPS that you probably have to rely on like your Hollow Decoys to tank, which doesn't look optimistic. But we'll see. I mean, Nova does have the best tanks, not the best tanks, but like I would say the second best tanks in the game in terms of range. So if those get going, they'll really get going, especially if there's on Stim. So you just have to get to that point, I guess. In the C tier next we have Swann. Swann is known for his really durable, tanky Deathball wave that takes a lot of time to build up. Well, time is not on his side this week, and enemy DPS is also not on his side this week, so it's going to be a little bit harder. If Swann gets like a Blaze or a Boswell, that might help keep his wave alive for a little bit longer, I would say, but it's still going to be kind of hard, I would say, especially if your opponent gets like a Kev or a Tychus. Tychus is going to chew through whatever Swann has. And so you can't really get to that ideal like tank Thor state where you just sort of blow everything up. And so I think it's going to be kind of hard for Swann this week. And then next we have Stetman. My usual strategy of Stack Breaker Stetman with the explosions probably might be okay. I feel like it's not going to be as great because I'm basically not making use of the Stim Pack. And my opponent also has a Tychus Hero, which is going to soak some of the Baneling explosions, which is going to be bad. That being said, Stetman's alternative would be something like not Roach, Infestor Hydralisk with Zerglings, and an Ultralisk. That might be okay, Hydralisk being the backbone of your DPS, but I might actually want to try out a Lurker strategy, because Lurkers hit quite fast, but I can sort of micro them around, and I'll see how that looks like, because I feel like that might be pretty good. Might be really good. We'll see. But I don't think Stetman's going to be too great this week. And then next we have Abathur. Abathur's wave is known for its general durability, and Abathur's not very too known for high DPS, at least. I think Air Abathur might be okay if you go Guardians, but Guardians are just like, they're tier 3, so you have to get there. And then like your tier 2 Air is just anti-air, which if your opponent's not building any, then it's like, you could try out Mutalisk, I think, because they are 85 minerals apiece, and I mean, you know, Mutals are with Stim, I feel like they could be quite lethal, especially because of their bonus damage to armor, and it might actually force your opponent's hand to build anti-air, hopefully in the form of air units, and that'll be pretty good. But if not, then I don't know. I don't think Abathur will do too good. Maybe Roach, like a Roach spam, might be okay because Roaches are quite cheap. But it's just like the late game transition might be a little hard if you're going ground. So maybe like ground Roaches transition into air. Maybe that's what you have to go for. We'll see. And then D tier, I have Zagara. Most of Zagara's units like to explode or die, so they don't benefit from the Stim Pack. The only thing that does benefit that she does have are Hunter Killers, and Hunter Killers are kind of expensive as well, so she can't spam those in large amounts. But I think if Zagara manages to make it to the late game, she's definitely going to be the same monstrous force that she's always been. But I think getting there might be harder this week, especially because your wave is blunted by an opponent's Tychus unit. Yes, you have a Tychus unit yourself, but your opponent also has other units, right? Like tier 1 Zagara only has access to like Zerglings, some Banelings, and some Queens. That's not a lot of damage. And like tier 2, you have access to like Corruptors and Scourge. Great, that's not a lot of damage either. That actually does nothing. And only tier 3, when you get your first ab, is when you start spiking in damage, or not spiking, but like when your damage starts coming in, and that's gonna be tough. Yeah. And in D tier as well, I have Vorazun. So Vorazun's wave is also known for its durability overall. But this week with increased DPS, I don't see Vorazun's wave being that durable. Because I usually like to go for the tanky stalkers. You might be good with a disruptive air wave with like Oracles and Corsairs, but I don't know how well that's going to last later, because they are quite fragile units themselves, and if your opponents get some very powerful air with AoE, you're going to be toast. And Vorazun doesn't really have anything other unit that benefits from the Stim, like, at all. Like, you got melee units, but like, they're melee units, so they're going to drop off pretty hard. You could say your DTs are not too bad, but like, you might just have to try and end the game as soon as possible. But if you do make it to like a midpoint, I think Stalker stacking will be okay. I just feel like in the early game, Stalker stacking might just feel really bad. I could be wrong though, but I'm just sort of judging it from what I know of Stim Pack most of the time. But anyways, guys, these are my thoughts for the tier list this week. Be sure to let me know what you guys think as well. Maybe you think someone should be ranked higher. Maybe you think someone should be ranked lower. Be sure to let me know, because I do appreciate those thoughts. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys later.